So are you happy with the state of education in our country? I can tell you I'm not. In UPSC, the demands of the examination are so huge. This is the reason we wrote this book, because bulk of India is not able to answer. The students have no clue how to train themselves. 100 hours of live lectures, a test series, Falana Dikana Sir. They buy these extremely expensive courses. Where are we going wrong? I think the way we look at education in this country needs a drastic change. We think that education happens in the class. Teacher is this fountain of knowledge, and this actually had nothing to do with education. This had everything to do with selling something fast and making it convenient. They speak to a camera and that's pretty much it, right? They don't interact with students at all. So where is the education? So why did we write this book? Okay, so I'll ask you two questions from UPSC papers. Okay, the first one is, the attitude towards feminism in India has been largely patriarchal. Comment. And the second one is, vulnerabilities are an essential element to define disaster impacts. In what ways can vulnerabilities be characterized and categorized to describe disasters? What do you think? In which class is this covered? Is it in 10+2? Is it in college? Is it in university? इसका आंसर आपको कौन से क्लास में पढ़ाया गया था? Right? This level and kind of education is not available. In fact, there's been a lot of revolution in education in India, a lot of new ways to teach. A lot of this is available only to the elite in urban India, but not to the other 90%. This is the reason we wrote this book, because bulk of India is not able to answer these questions. Yet in UPSC, the demands of the examination are so huge that it poses an extraordinarily difficult challenge for the students. And the students have to understand that they have to approach education in a very different way. So students have no clue how to train themselves. They see advertisements which show 100 hours of live lectures, a test series, Falana Dikana Sir. They buy these extremely expensive courses, thinking that this will help them make the cut, but it doesn't. So are you happy with the state of education in our country? I can tell you I'm not. Right? What we teach them in most of these educational institutions is basics, should have been covered in college, schools, 10+2. Where are we going wrong? I think the way we look at education in this country needs a drastic change. We think that education happens in the class when the teacher is talking and the students are listening. Teacher is this fountain of knowledge, and he or she is coming and describing a particular chapter and students just get it. That is not what happens. In reality, education or learning really happens after the class, when the student decides what to do with the information he or she captured while being in the class. So if they sat down and they actually read through the papers, they summarized, they tried to think of it from 5 different dimensions, asked some questions, read some supporting material, then drew a picture and tried to memorize it, try to reproduce it. When that intent is there, then true learning happens. And this is what we have forgotten in our country. But इसमें student की गलती नहीं है. Focus needs to be on post-class engagement, teaching students how to assimilate the information, how to sit down with it, and how to really make it effective. How we can effectively write a synopsis, what would be good dimensions to cover, how we can slice and dice a question, what is the question really asking. these are things that good teachers instinctively know, and they bring out that thing in their students. In fact, if you look at what good teachers are, they really are great coaches. They understand what strengths and weaknesses of students are, what is their starting point, where are they actually stuttering, and they help them overcome their problems so that students can grapple with their learning. They can grasp their learning, they can grasp better things. But today's teachers, most of them in our test prep sector especially, are infotainers. They are really good presenters. They can talk well, they can explain a topic, so they are subject matter experts. So I'm not taking that away from them. In order to be a good teacher, you need to understand the student. You don't need to just understand the subject. You need to also understand the student, where they are, what are their issues, what are their problems, how can you fix certain aspects of their learning process, to maximize benefit that education can bring. What is wrong with edtechs today? I think everything. You see how edtechs today are formed, and most of it is a combination of social media, e-commerce, and streaming technology, right? These are the three building blocks, and they put together, and they just made an edtech platform saying, okay, here's a streaming lecture that you can watch live. You can like, share, subscribe this, and recommend us to others. And here's how to buy a course, and perfect. This actually had nothing to do with education. This had everything to do with selling something fast and making it convenient for people to buy. So that is what is changing in today's edtech 2.0 or 3.0 or whatever you talk about. Now we have to put real education in tech. That's what is needed. Most of our competition, I will not be shy to say, have teachers. They speak to a camera, and that's pretty much it, right? They don't interact with students at all. So where is the education? This is what we try to do at Edukemy. We try to focus on post-class engagement. We try to teach the students to be a better learner. The learning process itself has to be understood. And we hope by doing this that we can make a meaningful impact to a student's life. And what I would consider as an achievement, if the student, after reading this book, gets an understanding of what is the difference they're going to bring to their learning process, how might they think about a topic once the topic is taught, what should they do before the topic is taught? We talked a lot about flipped classrooms, where students have to learn the topic and then they come to class. So the class is actually used for revision. This is especially important because in today's world is not like when we were studying back in 80s and 90s, when there was no way to do information capture. Information was only in books and in the great voice of the teacher, right? So inside the class is where I would capture all the information. Now information is everywhere. So why wait for the class to capture the knowledge? The knowledge can be captured earlier. Class time might be used to effectively revise it. That's what we're trying to do. It's not easy. The book itself is written in a very conversational style. It's not dense like your standard economics book or your geography book. So it talks to you and it tries to get you to write down certain things that make you think in a certain direction. So it asks you a question. Carry this book with you wherever you go. It should not sit on the shelf, because it gives you a process to manage your process. It gives you new ideas of how to make your memorization, retention more effective, your revision more effective. It also gives you subject supplements. So, last 10 years analysis of all the papers. So, back to the two questions I started with. They were what we call L3 level questions. So L3 level questions try to dig out your personality, your vision, your approach towards problem solving. Not stuff that typically you get in textbooks and you're, okay, this is the question, that's the answer. sometimes you have to explain what your position is and what your vision is for the country. You're going to be a nation builder. So these questions require a different level of looking and preparing. And we have tried to do a lot of that. We are absolutely certain if somebody completes the syllabus 100%, there is a very small percentage of chance that he or she will qualify. The exam needs a different sort of mindset. Make this your companion, and let's go intense. One of the founding principles of Edukemy was intensity of preparation beyond teaching the subjects, which most people do. um, Bringing the intensity into learning is what actually creates a difference in the end. I am very hopeful that you will benefit. It'll go a long way in making their preparation a much more fruitful and much more enjoyable process.